How powerful is their economy right now? Like, how much control do they have? What areas are they taking? I know like 80% of AC, when you look at these numbers here, what are some of the stats about how powerful China's become?
You mean in terms of?
Economy, manufacturing, production, what they're building, steel, phones, shoes.
Well, I mean, so just one of the things I say in the book, from 2011 to 2013, they poured more concrete in those 2 years than we did in the entire 20th century.
It's very important for you to state this one more time. They did more in 2 years of pouring concrete, I remember the stat, than U.S. did in 114 years.
Yes.
Is that a factual statement?
That's a factual statement.
I'm gonna find it, and let's put it, because if that is true, in 2 years versus 114, what was that all about when you talk about that? They're building 90 to 120 cities with the average population of 5 to 10 million. And one of the cities becoming the Silicon Valley, it's like by a lake, but they won't give the name of what the city's name is going to be. And it's got 550 square feet of office space, with 95% is not occupant, and they're willing to sell it for cheap and rent it for cheap. Like, is that really part of the strategy?
If you want to keep people employed and you have one model and you're facing a financial challenge, then you go back to the model. It's just like, if it's working, don't make it quit. The problem that they run into is, can they get the raw materials and the energy and the food to actually sustain that? And what they've needed to do that is to get U.S. dollars. And we've enabled them through our trading relationship with them to do that. Recently with the tariffs, they've had to dip into the capital markets and get through MSCI, get money from our retirement funds. But for the most part, it keeps people employed. And that, by the way, is also why the Belt and Road Initiative exists. It's not just an opportunity to really gain control of the Eurasian landmass. It's also an ability to offload some of its spare capacity in order to employ Chinese. They harvest most of the world's frozen fish, right? They export 50% of their catch, right? And there's 1 million people employed in the frozen fish industry, right? That. So it's all about keeping people employed, and so while they dominate these industries, it's not merely because they want to dominate the industry. It's because they want to maintain legitimacy. The way you maintain legitimacy is keep people employed.
90 to 120 cities with a population of 5 to 10 million? That's nuts to me. To be able to build something like that.
Well, think about it. If you're going to build a city, though, the best way to build a city is to build it a total greenfield, right? If you're building a city, or if you're increasing the size of a city, say like Shanghai, it's far more expensive than it is just to go out in the middle of a field and build a city, right? You don't have to do you don't have to tear down and rebuild and rezone and go through all the things. You just build a city, and I think if you think about how they financed it with our recovery money, a lot of the loans came from U.S. banks with recovery money, and the price of those things collapsed, as I talk about in the book. Now you have an ability to move the extra 300 or 400 million of people that are out in the country into those cities.
I mean, that's a very
it's
brilliant formula. Absolutely. What's the motive behind not allowing you to foreclose on your home? Like, if you have a $100,000 loan on your home, you're late $4,000. They don't foreclose on the home. They just add the $4,000 that you're late on the loan. Now it's $104,000. Is that actually the banking system?
It's brilliant.
Is that really what they do?
Yes, it's brilliant.
You're serious? So
yes.
that is a real actual methodology for that?
Right.
Did you understand that part? Like, so you got a $100,000 loan. I'm going through crisis. I miss a couple payments. I still stay in the home. They just tack it on the loan at the end.
Oh, you're not even in the home. You probably got 4 or 5 of these things.
Do you think that's a good formula, though?
Good formula for what?
For any other person, any other banking system to use.
Well, but when you have a strict capital controls and a non-convertible currency, you have essentially a closed financial system. These banks can't get their money out.
So you can keep doing that.
You can keep doing it.
That's just unbelievable.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. So if
we were doing that, dollars would be flowing out of this country.
Well, let me ask you. You know how the whole saying goes that if you got somebody that's coming up and they're competing with you, beat them while they're small. Don't let them get too big, right?
Right.
It's too late.